Hi, I'm Darren Steele with Darren Does That. It is springtime in Alberta, which is just this terribly ugly season when everything is filthy and yet there's still ice everywhere. You can hear the wind blowing, bringing in that warm air. This season gives us a unique opportunity to check some of the water issues and grading issues. There's a few things in the spring before the warmth really gets underway. It's a really great time to check for. So why don't you come on a brief walk with me, my home, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I look for in my spring inspection. First thing I want to do is look at the roof. Winter can be really hard on roofs, and I'm always concerned once we get into the freeze thaw season about the possibility of ice damming. Now, on my south facing roof, we're already down to no snow, which is great. But what we're looking for, if we're concerned about the possibility of ice damming, is big, thick chunks of ice. You know, thick snow is one thing, thick ice is another thing. And you want to check the valleys and the eaves. Those are the most likely spots. The other thing we can spot really easily this time of year is any sort of leaking in the gutters. If you're looking at the ground underneath the corners of the gutters, you're looking for the possibility of wet spots, icy spots. If you've got them on your driveway or sidewalks, those can be really slick. You can also take a look underneath, looking for rust on the seams. In this case, we're pretty good. Another thing I want to look at is the grading. As things melt, I don't want water running back towards the house. We have snow melting here, and I can see that part of this sidewalk here is wet, and it's a little bit wet every day. That tells me that I've got a little bit of improper grading with water coming that way. And I got a few spots in my house that are a little worse. This area here is looking pretty good. Want to check the sealant. I've got stucco and then I've got capped windows, and so I can see that I've had some cracks opening up in the sealant. That's going to be a little homework. I repaired some last year. We're definitely due for a window upgrade here. But I can see here that maybe this is one piece that I missed. And I got a problem because this is soft and pushes in, and we're solid up here. So there's definitely been some water. I've got some rot back there I got to check. You always want looking at any place that's going to have sealant on the house, and you want to make sure that it's all in good condition. Coming to the back of the house, we still have itty bitty bits of snow, but still no chunks of ice, which means that there's not much of a chance that the water is going to be going back uphill. As we get down here in my garage, you can see again, we've got some really wet sidewalk. So there's definitely some negative grading. You can see that it is pooling in the flower bed next to the house. So I can pretty easily throw more soil into the flower bed so it doesn't get into the garage. But unfortunately, my sidewalk here is in a low spot, so it's going to be wet, and it's really hard to keep ice off of it when it freezes. You can see here part of my fall project was incomplete. Failed to empty this rain barrel, and so the bottom is blown out. That's got to be on the fall inspection list. Let's take a quick run around and have a look at our faucets. Now, I don't have frost-free taps, but most homes do. And hopefully, if you have frost-free taps, you disconnected them. In my case, I had to actually turn the water off and then open them up to drain. But if you've got frost-free taps somewhere near the start of the season, you want to turn them on and then maybe connect them to a hose with a nozzle or something so that you can stop the flow and you get some back pressure. And there'll be caps on top of them, little cylinders. Those are vacuum breakers. And if you've got damaged gaskets over the winter, you're going to see water coming out of those. They're not bad for a DIY fix, but you definitely want to do it because when they're leaking, they drop almost all their water right down at the foundation. And that is kind of the sort of things that I'm checking as I go through. You know, missing some of these things can result in a pretty expensive bill with water getting places that you don't want it. Keep an eye out for any sort of water that is pooling next to the building. And I've got a written blog article that's got a few more specifics about how to solve these things if you're running into them. Thanks for taking a few minutes with me today.